Congressman Ken Buck of Colorado. He's a founding member of the House Freedom Caucus, who also serves on the Judiciary Committee. Well, this all just happened. You were already, I think, in the building as this was being announced, so we'll play a little bit more of what Speaker McCarthy said. But you have said, as recently as to my colleague Jen Psaki, I believe on Sunday, that you did not think this was a good idea. You didn't think it was warranted. What do you think today?
Well, I think what I wanted to do was look at the evidence, and I said I'll go where the evidence takes me, and I still want to look at the evidence. I'm going to get a briefing later in the week on what evidence links President, at the time, Vice President Joe Biden to Hunter Biden's activities. I haven't seen that link yet, and so I'm reluctant to agree with Speaker McCarthy. He doesn't need to put this to a vote, even though he said before that he would put this to a vote at the House floor. He doesn't need to, and so my understanding is it's been assigned to the Oversight Committee, and we'll get the facts from the Oversight Committee.
Given the fact that there are no appropriations approved, or not all the appropriations, the Senate has acted, the House hasn't. The budget year is running out. There's pressure from a number of Republicans to make deeper cuts than was agreed to in the debt relief plan, the debt ceiling plan, even though that was a bipartisan agreement signed off by both houses. Senator Mitch McConnell has said that those further cuts are not warranted. So the Senate is not going to go along with it. So, the House is now barreling towards a potential shutdown of the government over money. Why start impeachment now? And why not get the government spending crisis resolved first?
We should. We should absolutely focus on the government spending. And I think what Kevin McCarthy did in this situation was to take the vote away from the House floor, have the Oversight Committee continue the work that they have been doing for a number of months, and really focus on spending. So I think this move by the Speaker is a move to focus on spending. The truth is we should have been focused on spending back in June. We should have been passing bills to get the 12 bills passed in time.
Is he doing this because he's under pressure from a number of members in his caucus, and he made so many concessions to go through those 15 rounds to get the job? He's trying to keep the gavel.
I think President Trump has made it known through his social media account that he wants to see President Biden impeached. I think that has really stirred the base of support in the Republican Party, and I think a lot of members have reacted to that. So I think there is in the Republican base, there is a real desire to see this move forward.
Would you prefer if the former president stayed out of this fight and let House members resolve it?
That's a preference. Whether I do or not, that's never going to happen. So I can see Donald Trump enjoying this moment, frankly, and it also distracts a little bit from the 4 indictments that he is facing at this time.
And regarding the spending crisis, do you think that should be a hard line of going to that lower amount of spending rather than what was agreed to between Senator McConnell, House Speaker McCarthy, all of the leaders, Democratic and Republican, and the president, agreed to that as the spending level? They have to worry about what's going on, in the individual appropriations. But is this the time to start renegotiating that? Well,
Kevin McCarthy negotiated one deal when he became Speaker, and right, one number when he became Speaker. The members he chose to go to the White House and negotiated a higher number. So now he is trying to balance the interests of the promises that he made to the Freedom Caucus and others with a lower number, and the deal that was cut for the debt ceiling increase.
Do you think that the Speaker can keep his job and survive all of the crosswinds here?
I think the Speaker probably survives because nobody else wants the job. I don't think it's a very good job in Washington, D.C.
You don't want the job right now?
No, I certainly don't want the job. You'll never hear Speaker Buck. But I do think that with a 5-vote majority, this Speaker has a particularly difficult job to do to try to balance the interests and move forward. We all hope that there's not a shutdown. We all want to make sure that we get to a number that works. We also don't want to be jammed up against the Christmas deadline with a CR that forces us into a bad situation where if we shut down government workers are going into their Christmas break without jobs. And so I think there's a lot of real pressure to try to make it right before the end of September.
We all know that with government shutdowns usually hurt Congress, they hurt the president, but in the past they've hurt Congress more than the president. We saw what happened with Bill Clinton and Newt Gingrich.
Right. They clearly hurt Republicans more than Democrats, and we will be blamed. We are in charge in the House, and so if there is blame, it's going to come our way, and it's going to come our way right before a presidential election year.
One question about a Senate matter, but it does affect all of us. It's because it affects national security. What do you think about Senator Tuberville putting that hold on the military? By the end of the month, we won't have a chairman of the Joint Chiefs because his job is over by October 1st. And you have 300 plus people, including service chiefs, as well as the chair of the chiefs, who have not been confirmed.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of frustration in the Senate. I'm not in the Senate, so I'm really an observer from the other side of the building. But I think that what Senator Tuberville has done is to express his outrage over a particular issue within the military that President Biden issued an executive order on. And I think the two sides need to get together and they need to hammer this out. There's nothing that is more important in terms of the federal job than to secure our homeland, and that's done with the Defense Department. Hopefully this can move forward.
Well, Congressman Buck, as always, it's a pleasure. It's great to have you here in person, and thank you very much for being so thoughtful and coming here today. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you.